Hare Krishna, everyone, and welcome to our weekly Bhagavad Gita class. We will be discussing today's topic for discussion is Transcend with Bhakti. Transcend is moving from one position to another position, one level of consciousness to other level of consciousness, and it's today is going to be a very interactive session. I do have very less to say, and you all have a lot to talk, a lot to contribute. So hopefully we'll have a very fruitful session today, and everybody please prepare yourself to participate. Sit yourself in a nicely lit up place so you can switch on your video and be at a quieter place so that you can speak whenever there is an opportunity. And I encourage everyone to contribute as much as they want. We'll be talking about a lot of practical aspect of bhakti, of the verses of Bhagavad Gita that what we have learned so far. So it's going to be hopefully interesting session, and we all will learn something out of it. So starting with where we are. We have a couple of rounds of discussions on these four verses. This is called Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita. Within these four verses, Krishna has packed the entire nectar of Bhagavad Gita. That's why Acharyas call this four verses a Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, a very important verses from Bhagavad Gita. So, in the theme that Acharyas present to explain the importance is the Sambandha, Abhidheya, and Prayojana. Sambandha Krishna, Abhidheya Bhakti, Prayojana Krishna Prem. What do you want to whom you want to establish your relationship with, and who is the object of your relationship? Now that object is Krishna. So Sambandha Krishna. Why Krishna? Because of his greatness, because of his magnanimity, because who he is. Simply by understanding his position, and we become humble towards him. He's the one who is in control of this whole universe, who has created this universe, who is maintaining this universe, who is feeding each and every living entity in this universe, right from an ant to an elephant and everyone. And he's really responsible for ultimately destruction of this universe. He's responsible for our destruction. He's responsible for the destruction of the whole universe towards the end, and by his own will he will recreate it whenever he wants it. So he has got ultimate veto, ultimate power, that is so supreme, that is so much more in quantity and quality, and that is all beyond our imagination. And knowing this, we become humble with him, we become aligned with his plan. So that's the position. And how do we do that is the sambandha, the prayojana is bhakti. By all following all other means, it is not possible to win his heart. If we have to win Krishna's heart, we have to become devotee of Krishna. And by becoming devotee of Krishna, we see by examples, Krishna becomes devotee of those devotees. Krishna becomes surrender to those devotees. Those Krishna do anything for those devotees. Krishna can do everything for those devotees. Those who are fully surrendered to him, those who are fully dependent upon him. So prayojana is bhakti. So prayojana is what is the ultimate objective. ये सब करने के बाद हमें क्या चाहिए? We want Krishna is our goal, Bhakti is our process. पर ये सब करके हमें क्या चाहिए? हमें कृष्ण प्रेम चाहिए. We want to attain love for Krishna. Then if so that all these things can be done very lovingly, and then Krishna also can reciprocate lovingly. If we saw that if we are forced to love somebody, that's not love. That's not if we are forced in a particular relationship which operate only by force, by power, by authority, those are not very fruitful relationship, those are not very healthy relationship, not very nectarian relationship, not there's not a lot of loving exchange that happens in those relationships. Those remain very formal relationship. Yes, I have to respect my boss in office, I have to talk to him in a particular way. However, if boss is genuinely good person, we will do it wholeheartedly. It's a simple example. So that's what the prayojan is. The prayojan is priti. Prayojan is love for Krishna, and these four verses capture all this whole theme very well. So aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. So aham sarvasya prabhavo is the reason why we are having a relationship with Krishna, because everything, and Krishna is the source of everything, the spiritual, the material, whatever we know of, his source of everything. And everything emanates from him. Big statement, if you think of it. And then those who are wise, those who are Buddha, they surrender to Krishna with wholeheartedly, in a wholehearted way, and they perform bhava samanvitaha, they perform bhakti. So this verse contains a lot of things, all the sambandha as well as prayojan, abhidheya, and then machitta madgata pranaha, machitta madgata prana bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So when you're in love with someone, you want to talk about that person all the time. So that's what devotees do. Devotees fall in love with Krishna, and then they discuss Krishna. They carry Krishna everywhere, wherever they go. They go to office, they go with Krishna. They go come back home, they are with Krishna. They travel in local trains of Mumbai, they are with Krishna. They are thinking about Krishna. They are listening to Krishna's kirtan. They are listening to Krishna's uh, some lecture, and they are always engaged in Krishna. They talk, they also about Krishna. They want to discuss about Krishna. They want to know more about Krishna. They want to hear more about Krishna. This they can do because they are non-envious of Krishna. They don't want to become Krishna. They have accepted Krishna as supreme authority, and they are surrendered to that authority, and they want to serve that authority with love. So this verse predominantly talks about the prayojana, the love for Krishna. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. So those who are engaged in this way, continuously serving Krishna, bhajatam pritipurvakam, with love and devotion, then Krishna says, even if they are slightly imperfect, whatever the imperfections they may have, I will give them, I will give them additional intelligence, so that yenamam upayantite. This is Krishna's plan by which they can come to me. Now, by which they can come to me is Krishna's plan. Everything is happening for this plan. Krishna want us to come back to him. This is where he is revealed. He's said this also earlier, that his dham is paramam mama, yad gatvana nivartante tadhama paramam mama. In the 8th chapter he is revealed, but he's not saying that. That's more from the soul's point of view. The soul, when he has experienced misery in this world, and when he go back to spiritual world, he does not want to come back to that misery. Hare Krishna. Is everything okay?
Now it is okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I think it got dropped, right? It got
Yeah,
restarted.
yeah,
Okay. uh, Krishna willing, hopefully internet will stay good for rest of the session. So is the recording going on? Yeah, recording is on, so we can continue with the screen share. Okay, so Krishna says this, that Dadami Buddhi Yogam, I will give them intelligence so that they can come to me. This is Krishna's plan. Now, we just pause here. Spotlight for everyone. And then in the last verse, Krishna explains that how he gives knowledge by lighting. It's like he gives example of lighting a lamp in the heart of devotees. So once there is a lamp, the darkness of ignorance goes away, and that is how he does what he does. Now we'll take a step backwards at this stage, because in the next few verses, Arjuna is going to reveal his understanding of Bhagavad Gita, and that's very important to know what is his position. But before we learn those verses where Arjuna confirms what is happening with him, what is going to be his position, we'll understand where Arjuna is coming from, how Arjuna started this conversation. So, what was his position at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita? So, beginning of Bhagavad Gita, as you all may remember, uh, the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga, or Vishad is lamentation. Lamentation is crying. Why was Arjuna crying? So Arjuna was crying because he was in a very difficult condition, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. He was shaken up. He was very well, he was fully shaken. So this was his condition. So he was overwhelmed with compassion. So in the 27th verse, Arjuna's position is described that after when he orders Krishna was his chariot driver, so he orders Krishna to take his chariot between the two armies, and so that he can take a good look at everyone who has come there to with an intention to fight. Now he wanted to see people from both armies. It's not just one side, because he was aware that if this is going to be the one of the biggest war of this particular time, and whatever will happen, lots of people will get killed in this war, because there are Atirathis, there are Maharathis, there are great warriors on both sides, and lots of people will simply get killed in this war. And who all these people, he wanted to take a closer look at it. So he asked Krishna to take chariot in between two armies, so that he can observe both sides as a in an independent way, third party way. And when he saw everywhere there are relatives sides standing on both sides of these armies, there are people whom he knew, there are friends, there are relatives, there are brothers, there are acharyas, there are pitamahas, there are in-laws, there are so many people he knew, and all are standing in front of each other with a desire to fight, and all of those were probably destined to get killed, if at all the war were to start. So within this condition, he becomes overwhelmed with compassion for those souls, and he started talking with Krishna, and he's saying, I feel that he's describing his own condition, the physical condition, which is resulting from mental status, because emotionally and mentally he was broken completely from within. He was physically finding himself in a very very weak condition, and he's describing that he's feeling that he feels the limbs of my body are quivering and my mouth is drying up, the whole body is trembling, my hair standing on end, my bow gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. I am now unable to even stand on my feet. I'm unable to stand on my feet any longer, and I'm forgetting myself. My mind is reeling. I see only cause of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of Keshi demon. Then Sanjay is describing in the next two verses, the verse 46 and verse 47, first verse of second chapter, that what he is observing Arjuna, his observation and his opinion about Arjuna. Now Arjuna has sat down, casting aside his bow and arrow, and he sat on this chariot, and his mind overwhelmed with grief. In the next verse, Sanjay described this grief is not just inside; it's manifesting on the outside completely, because he's now crying. A kshatriya of his stature is crying, sitting down in the chariot on the battlefield where everyone is ready to fight. He's a kshatriya, the champion warrior of his time. That's his position. He has single-handedly won against all demigods. He has fought a battle with Lord Shiva. He's defeated Indra. He's done so many wonderful feats, achievements in his life. As a champion warrior, he has been He's done so many wonderful acts. And same Arjuna, with the just before the battle is broken, battle started, is crying, sitting inside the chariot, and his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, ashrupurna kalevaram. So his tears are not only what, it's not watery eyes, it's tears are flowing from his eyes. And then he's that's his condition as it is observed by Sanjaya, who is watching the battle of Kurukshetra. This was Arjuna's position, and then Krishna speaks. Krishna spoke the following words, and what follows from verse 2.2 onwards till verse 10.11 is what predominantly has been spoken by Krishna, that we know as the knowledge section of Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge, key knowledge section of Bhagavad Gita. And from there, Arjuna spoke the following verse uh, in the in the so that uh, so he's saying, Parabrahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashwatam Divyam Adi Devam Majam Vibhum. So he's saying this now. Arjuna is saying that you are the supreme personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode of the purest and the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asta, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. Now this is speaking after hearing the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, the 10th chapter and 10th 11th verse. Till that, Arjuna has spoken, but he's spoken predominantly for asking questions or asking for clarifications, and Krishna has done bulk of the talking. The major speaking is done by Krishna. Now Arjuna is paraphrasing what he's understood by hearing Krishna attentively. So this is what he's confirming to be his understanding about Krishna, that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth, the Param Satya, and his eternal, transcendental, original person, unborn, the greatest. The even now that is not his own position. He's saying this is the position confirmed by various sages in past, and now Krishna is declaring, repeating the same. Is not Krishna is saying it for the first time. This is known position about for everyone. So everybody knew, everyone knows about this Krishna's position. And Arjuna is saying that now Krishna, you are declaring it upon me, and I'm accepting it wholeheartedly. I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. No question, no doubt. All doubts are almost dispelled. So Krishna is Arjuna is paraphrasing that I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O supreme person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of God, and Lord of the universe. So something has changed from where Arjuna was and where Arjuna is. So this is where he was. He was sitting down. He's not able to stand on his feet. Uh, sitting down in the chariot, crying. A kshatriya crying. It's unheard of. Kshatriya. Why will kshatriya lament? The biggest reason for sorrow is death, and kshatriyas are not afraid of death. A kshatriya dying in battlefield can go to swarga. So hatova prapsasi swargam jitva va bhukshase mahim. So why will kshatriya, what would cause a kshatriya to cry in the middle of battlefield? He's not scared. So that's where no, that's his position. That was his position before the beginning, at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, and this is his position now. He's peaceful. He's regained his focus. He is knowledgeable now. He has knowledge, and he's confirming that knowledge to Krishna by saying, repeating what Krishna has said, and he's given his understanding of Krishna's position, and that he has done with absolute clarity. Absolute clarity. He's saying you are the supreme, the origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of God, Lord of the universe, and the original person, the unborn, the greatest, the so many beautiful words. So what we notice here is a change in a devotee. A devotee after performing bhakti cannot remain the same person as he was. And this is where our today's most of the discussion will 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 be around that how a devotee has to change. A devotee must change if they practice sincere devotion, bhakti, the process of sambandha. Once they understand the sambandha and they apply themselves to the process of bhakti, they apply themselves to the process of bhakti by performing bhakti, actually taking up process of bhakti by taking up the process of hearing and chanting, hearing scriptures and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, serving Krishna in various ways. They can't remain the same person. They just cannot remain the same person. And that's going to be the theme of our today's discussion, that to transcend means to change. uh, do we need to change after taking up the process of bhakti? Do we need to change? That's the first question, and there are multiple other questions, but the first question, uh, please keep yourself on unmute all the time if you wish to, because there's going to be a lot of question answer that's going to happen. So generally we see people, all of us were devotees, all of our hopefully all of our were believers. I may, if I may say, called कि हम कुछ तो बिलीव करते थे. हमारे फैमिलीज में कुछ ट्रेडिशन होता था कि जो महाराष्ट्र में है वो लोग गणपति लाते थे. They were all worshipping Ganpati because in family everyone worshipped Ganpati, Ganesh ji. A lot of people from north, they were worshippers of Lord Shiva because traditionally since childhood they would have seen their fathers, their grandfathers worshipping Lord Shiva. A lot of us probably are from Vaishnava tradition also, so there people, they would have seen their parents worshipping Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna right from their childhood. And as a tradition or as a family tradition, they all would have accepted the process and they must be following that process. Now this is this is good but not good enough, because you are following a tradition and probably that doesn't that is done more as a ritual, more we all, most of us have some altar at home. We perform puja in the morning before leaving, and then we do for rest of the day whatever, pretty much what we want to do. We don't really carry our altar with us. We don't carry the deities which are there on the altar with us wherever we go, whatever we do. We don't think about them probably beyond the time that we are serving them in the at the time of puja at the most. Maybe at the home, after coming back home, we will probably perform some puja again. We'll do some arti again, whatever we may do. But overall, we see the uh, overall what we see is that the god constitute very small portion of our time. If we have 24 hours, maybe 1 hour at the most. Even for 1 hour is also too much. Most of us probably must be finishing our puja also in half an hour or maybe 15 minutes, even as less as 15 minutes. uh, ये कर दिया, ये कर दिया, ये कर दिया, अगरबत्ती दिखा दी, कुछ दूध शक्कर का भोग चढ़ा दिया, and that's it. Go to office, then practically forget about the altar, forget about the puja. But the current process of bhakti that's recommended is different. They say tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam. The satata yukta is continuous engagement. It's expected that you will remember Krishna 24 by 7, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Now, this is something that is expected out of a devotee, and what we see normally practiced even Indian homes or even traditional Indian families is some bhakti. Many homes are today may not even, you may not find altar, may not even have any altar, any god's picture. Instead of there could be Bollywood pictures that you may find. But wherever there are altars, where there are homes, where there is some form of worship is carried out, we see that worship that's being done is very, very maybe constitute of at the most maybe 15-20 minutes, 1 hour at the most for the whole family time. But so those that kind of devotion really does not change our life. That's the point I was trying to make, that following such devotion which is coming to us by tradition, our life does not practically change. What to speak of what we follow as a part of culture, the Diwali mein kuch lamp lagate hain, of course those are all considered to be a matter of subject matter of fun more than anything else. So again, does not really change our life, does not really bring a change in our life. So currently what we have heard so far in the Bhagavad Gita, do you really understand, do you really believe that it does trigger some kind of a change in our lifestyle after studying Bhagavad Gita?
Yes, Prabhuji. I do believe because I have experience.
Okay, so it's not just meant to be heard, some shlokas to be memorized and to impress people around us. There's a lot to apply, and those application will not keep us same. Is that
Yes, Prabhuji.
okay? So let's jump into so the session, and what we'll be doing is we'll be studying some verses from Bhagavad Gita, and so this is theme, and we will be inviting your comments as to how these verses are applied in our life, and what when we apply these verses, what happens, what kind of how we can apply these verses in our life, and what can change in us. The change that can happen at with us can be at a physical level, where we start doing something or we stop doing something. That's something a behavioral kind of a change. The change can be in our knowledge and our disposition. Disposition means hamari position. We before studying Bhagavad Gita, we could have some position. After Bhagavad Gita, we may change our position. We may change our values. So that's a subtle change. That's not physical change. Externally, हम वैसे ही दिखते हैं. But subtly in the inside us, a lot of there is a lot of change happens inside us. Externally also, we may start applying tilak, which we probably never did. We may wear a dhoti kurta and go out or step down from our building without really worrying about what our neighbors will think. So and so forth. There could be some internal change driving external change also, but there could be all and out external change also. We may stop doing certain things, we may start doing certain things, and there will be always the change at the level of soul. The soul will become blissful, the Sachid Ananda position that it may regain if we if we perform bhakti properly. So this is where request comments from everyone. So this is a theme. The first slide is a theme. The theme has three verses from second chapter. Natve vaham jato nasam natvam neme janadhipaha. So where Krishna is saying at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita narration, Krishna is saying that never was a time that I did not exist, you, nor all these kings. So after Arjuna started crying, gave up the battle. Krishna began his instructions by this verse very much. This is the 12th verse of second chapter, where Krishna is talking about eternity, and he's saying, give up attachment to the temporary and focus on what is eternal. Between amongst a human, the body that you are seeing on the battlefield, Bhishma, for example. Bhishma also has a soul, has a body. You are trying to save the body. You are worried about the body. That body is going to get killed. And so Krishna is saying that the theme that he's talking about here in this case is that the body cannot be saved. The body is not eternal. The soul who is occupying the body, who is the real entity, who is the real person, is the soul, as a spiritual, and that soul cannot be killed. The soul is eternal. So you should worry about the what is permanent, what is eternal. Don't stop worrying about what is temporary. So the right differentiation that Krishna is bringing right at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita is about between what is temporary and what is eternal. How can we apply this these verses in our life? The second and the third verses are also very famous. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. He is explaining that how the soul is in this body today, but at the end of it, it will give up this body. When it becomes useless, it will acquire new body, and the journey of soul continues. And the same, he is not slain when the body is slain. Na hanyate hanya mane sharire. Soul has never taken birth. Soul does not take birth. Soul will not take birth. Soul is again eternal. Ajo nityah shashvatoyam purano. No hanyate hanya mane sharir. The soul is not killed when the sharir is killed. शरीर का नाश होने के बाद soul का नाश नहीं हो सकता. Soul goes to a new body. Now the theme, this is the theme. Now the question is, what we learn out of this theme and how do we apply? What should change in us? That our change can be at physical level और at the level of our disposition. हमारी नॉलेज के लेवल पे, हमारे डिस्पोजिशन के लेवल पे चेंज हो सकता है, इंटरनल चेंज हो सकता है एंड एक्सटर्नल चेंज हो सकता है. हाउ डू वी अप्लाई दिस थीम ऑफ वर्सेस इन आवर लाइफ? what can change after learning these verses in our life?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I want to share one experience. And I was in some government office and was talking to somebody who recently has a family problem. He was just discussing with me that his wife has got a miscarriage and that son was born and he was alive for 2 days. And then after, he was going through that pain. So I was just remembering this verse and I was talking to him that you are the lucky father and mother who has been selected by God, that you are the means of passing that soul through this world for a very small time. And don't be aggrieved of that situation. And you should be lucky and you are blessed by God that you have been chosen by God for this purpose. And that particular soul has passed in short time, not doing any karma during this period of 2 days or 3 days. And that purest soul was passing through the one life, and maybe he's getting moksha through your body and your life. So it's nothing like he has born or he has died. It is just a passing from one body to another body. And we had a long discussion on that, and just I tried to pacify him using this verse. And I felt that there's nothing to be worried about when we are passing through one body to another. We just need to doing the karma part and trying to burn our good karma or bad karma of previous life and current life. So that's what my experience was, and I felt very good after a discussion of half an hour. He was also little bit relaxed, and I can see his mood change during that time.
Okay, thanks for sharing, Proji. So basically, what Proji said is that this can be applied, especially if we know this, if we have this knowledge, we can deal with situations of our loved one passing away. And in general, we can. That's the moment of grief for everyone. People get bewildered, especially if the loved one is our family member, or anyone, could be a very small person, somebody passing away at a young age, and probably that kind of a situation can be really devastating for a family. So if we have this knowledge, what Prabhuji said is, such situations can be dealt with in a much more sensitive way. Now, with knowledge, our response to the event will be much better. Much not will. It's not that we'll not feel the loss for the person, but we will have that knowledge that will help us, stay calm, stay focused, and stay peaceful, even in the midst of uh, such a such a sorrowful condition. That's nice. Anybody else want to share? This is for everyone to share. Please don't raise hands or don't type too much in the comment, because it will be difficult for us to switch to the chat box and find out who's typing what. But feel free to stay unmuted throughout the session and please keep talking.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Roger. Yes, Vikas Prabhu, and then Harish Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. So as Prabhuji, Vinod Prabhuji were talking about that, he specified that. And these verses really works even in the personal life also. Like my elder son, he used to get very sick and I was very worried about him. Means every month he was to the doctor, and now this sometime happens with the smaller kid also, means with Sham. But at times I feel that this is in his karma, and probably he will come out of it. Means doctor will take care of it, and it is manifested by God. So no need to be worried. Means I have to be diligent, but at the same time I need not to be very much involved or very much in anxiety for that what will be happening to him. Whatever is destined will be happening to him. So that those changes comes, and those changes happens. And in the second verse also, the one other verse comes that where Krishna tells that tasmat apariyarate na tvam sochitum arasi. Means since something is definite, like in the first 12th verse, Krishna is telling that there was no time when all these souls standing in the battlefield were not there, or neither in future they won't be there. Means there will nor in the future there will be any time that they will not be there. So there is no nothing. Means this is inevitable. This change is inevitable, and there is no need to lament upon this. So this gives the internal energy that whatever phase of life we are going through, this is destined and this will happen. So our lamentation will just add insult to injury. So why to just lament on that, and why to waste that time that which can be utilized in much better way for the devotional services. And again the third one goes that this is the phase of life. Means on the similar line the 2.13 goes for me that it is the phases of life that one gets old. Means from boy to youth and adult and old, these are again phases of life. So this will be happening and the body will transfer to another body, since it is spoken by none other than the supreme personality of Godhead. And 2.20 comes as a assurance that nothing happens to our permanent identity, which is soul. So why to lament for a shirt worn by us for 3 years altogether, and that is torn. So once it is torn, it is of no use. So
Yes,
that
so
gives
nicely captured, Praji, and thank you so much for that. So what Praji brought out is two aspects. One is first aspect is predominantly that was there in the first answer also, that this is an internal change. This may not really show out in the. This may be apparent to the people around us just by our by us being peaceful in very distressful condition in general. That's the only external part, but primarily this is internal. So internally we may, we may deal with such situations in a far better way. So one example which comes to my mind is uh, we sitting in a sofa, luxurious sofa, and a needle, we get being poked by a needle, and that caused a lot of annoyance, a lot of anger. But when COVID vaccines were to be taken, people went to doctors and got those needles, got themselves poked by those similar needles. And so the सुई चुभने से जो pain होता है, that what one experienced, the pain was same in both the condition. But with knowledge, in the second occasion when people went and took that shot or took those vaccine, the pain was welcome. The pain, people paid for those pains also. For giving pain, they paid doctor to 780 rupees for as a vaccine charges also. And so what changed, the pain was similar in both the situations, but the knowledge make our experience, our response with knowledge, it became different. With when we had knowledge, we dealt with that situation in a much better way. So that's the difference. So once we have this knowledge, our response can change. Same thing applies in our life, as Vikas Prabhuji highlighted. We move from we move from the middle age to old age, and old age to very old age. And on the process, in the process, we are caught by various diseases. No matter how strong we might be in our youth, no matter how much care we must be taking of our health, no matter how much time we spend in morning walks, yoga, pranayam, everything, we will fall sick, we will die. And so when this change is occurring to us, we can be peaceful, knowing that this is the plan of the Lord. We have to utilize our chance that is given to us on this planet to attain Krishna. So this way, we can find out, and we can remain peaceful even in the seemingly very very distressful condition. Also, we can be peaceful. So it's more of internal, less of external. So we'll move on. If anybody has anything to comment on this, or we'll move on. We have
Not
lots of verses to cover.
Hare
One more
Krishna,
thing.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Swapnil Prabhu, Bhaskar Prabhu, you want to say
Uh,
something?
a very quick, very quickly, I think the experience would be mostly agreeing to this, is that we all want to associate with Hare Krishna, and particularly about me and my better half. We were thinking good about everything, but that goodness was kept to ourselves, about us, and we wanted to do what we were doing certain things, and we thought like it is always kept personal to us. But after association, we feel that we should more associate with Hare Krishna, going to the temple, or listening to all the pravachans, listening to the videos, and I could see a lot of changes. We used to think that what we are doing is somewhat we have attained to a certain level, but after going through all the videos of a lot of Prabhujis, and particularly Srila Prabhupada, that we are done nothing, and we are very small. So that understanding, that transcend, is slowly developing in us, and we want to associate more with the Krishna consciousness, and try to understand more. So this is a positive change what we have seen in us, and we would like to continue about this change, and we are loving this.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Swapnil Prabhuji, thank you so much for sharing your insights, sharing your thoughts on this, and your realizations on this. We have a next set of verses. Please, those who have not spoken so far, jump in to this conversation. This is open forum. Don't go to chat box, unmute yourself and speak. Those who have not spoken, I encourage them to speak. So this theme of verses is a desire to possess, or desire to enjoy, and hope that we can get some pleasure out of sense enjoyment. That is the reason why we are bound in this material world. So the verses we have picked up, 3 verses. The Bhogeshwarya Prasaktanam 2.44. Bhogeshwarya Prasaktanam Taya Aparate Chetasam. So Chetasam is mind. Mind is kidnapped. Whose mind is kidnapped? Of that person who is attached to bhoga, that is sense enjoyment, and aishwarya, bhoga and aishwarya, the opulence. So bhoga and aishwarya, anybody whose mind are too attached to bhoga and aishwarya, such persons' minds are kidnapped, and they are not able to perform bhakti with dedicated single-minded focus. Now this is a very important verse. Uh, what it tell us basically is such persons cannot will not be able to, will struggle to perform bhakti with single-minded focus. Single-minded focus, why? Because if you keep your focus many branch, you will not be able to do anything properly. So if you want to become a doctor, you should not take admission in engineering, or should not pursue chartered accountancy, or should not again become hope to become IAS or IPS simultaneously. So that way you can focus all your heart, body, mind, soul, everything on one path. And that kind of a single-minded focus, bhakti with single-minded focus, cannot happen if anybody who is too much attached to the sense enjoyment and Aishwarya, that is opulence. Now it's not talking about giving up sense enjoyment and giving up of opulence. It's like we often take this example of somebody who is admitted in IIT or IIM. Now he doesn't have to give up eating and sleeping in the on the proper place, but he should not be too much attached to it. His focus should be on his study. If he becomes too engrossed in what he's eating and where he's sleeping, then and in that process if he ignores the study, then he may fail. He may live nicely in that campus, but ultimately he will fail in the exam, and that's like a seat wasted. So, Bhogeshwarya Prasaktanam, that's the first verse. The second verse is important. Durena yava varam karma, buddhi yoga dhananjaya, buddhau sharanam anvicha, krupana phala hetava. So, the phala hetava, krupana, anybody who wants to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. Krishna is saying very clearly. So, it's not that give up the fruit, but if you are too much focused on enjoying the fruit, then miser is a person who is fool, and we are all big fools ourselves. So that's a second verse. Third verse, Krishna is saying that the give up the lower taste, give up the lower engagements, lower sense pleasures by tasting the higher pleasures, by tasting the by getting a higher taste, you give up lower taste. That's the theme of this third verse. Feel free to unmute. And again, the question is how we apply these verses in our life. What we learn from these verses, which can trigger a change at our end, either internal change or external change. It could be a mentality change in mentality. It could be a change in conduct. Either ways possible. What do we
Yes,
change by learning these verses?
yes, Prabhuji. What I have understood is कि जैसे we are eternal and we are living, and like Krishna, we are eternal also. So we have been enjoying this materialistic happiness and sorrow since a long period of time, and we shouldn't be attached, and we shouldn't be, we shouldn't want too much material opulences, because if we want that, it will keep us engaged in something else. Like maybe we would like to enjoy mood and mood and mood, and we will give up devotional services at that moment, and slowly we will start to forget Krishna, because we are conditioned to this materialistic nature, that if we have too much opulences, too much money, and if we are surrounded by people like that, we will naturally forget about Krishna, and we will start doing things which are, which will take us to the hellish planets. So we shouldn't be too much attached with opulences, material opulences, and everything like that, because money will come and go. Instead, if we think about Lord Shri Krishna at the time, which is most important, because at the time of death, whatever we have done through our life, we will try to remember at the time of death. It will come in our mind. So if we think about like coronavirus, or like, will I get this, will I get that, or I want to buy that, I want to get that, so at the time of death, maybe we will think about, materialistic opulences, and so our life will be wasted. So we should focus on Lord Shri Krishna, so at the time of death we will naturally remember him.
Yes, very nice. So, so Prahlad Maharaj is saying in his teaching that to his friends in his Gurukul, that the happiness and distress will come. They will come searching for you. So, yeah, that's true. Very nicely captured, Tracy. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Anybody else wants to?
yeah. I wanted to share one observation of the change that I felt, and I had a question also, if I can put across to you.
Yes, Isha.
Yeah. So the observation and the change that I felt myself was that few years back, being in the so-called corporate life rat race, obviously there was a high ambition of getting materialistic joys or getting materialistic things, such as Mercedes गाड़ी चाहिए या 3 BHK का घर चाहिए in this location, that location. And I know I used to work hard. didn't have much time for family and slogging all across. But at the end, all of these things didn't happen. And at that point in time, the knowledge was not there as to this is all Krishna's will, and we used to ask why. But now understanding all of these things, that taste of sense enjoyment has slowly gone in terms of going after materialistic things. So that is one change which I see. The question which I want to put across is that yes, the change is there within me. Okay, so there is one person who is my personal self, who is now understanding this and is observant and is knowledgeable about these aspects. But when I go to work, when I meet people, when I talk to a few other people who are, uh, not, devotees or an association with these, right? They are all, super ambitious, and they are all, anxious about the future. Uh, People keep pushing me that you need to do this, you need to work extra hours, you need to, uh, be in the race, to catch up, other people. So sometimes I feel that, yes, they may be right, but sometimes I have this confusion that, no, this is not my objective of running behind things. I feel more content at this present stage than I was much earlier. But yes, handling people, is something wherein, I feel, a big challenge, because the outside world, for example, when I go to my work, the people around me are all into the materialistic drive, and they want things to happen now. People always are anxious about giving deadlines. They want things to be done, and service to be given this moment. So I sometimes smile, but yeah, this confusion is there, that how do I take care of these people, and how do I address them? If you can help me out.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Nicely, well elaborated question, and that's true. This could become a kind of a state of confusion for us as we deal with this world. So two things. First is the we don't have to chase behind things. Doesn't mean we become irresponsible, because we until such time we become fully dedicated to Krishna, there will be some responsibilities that we may also have to perform, for which we may have to take up work. So what we still do is what best we can do. But also beyond that point, we should not really get entangled into the work also, because everything can be done in a very responsible, sincere way, but it has to have a kind of a it has to be kept outside when we come back. When we There should be a cutoff, there should be a cutoff taken, applied, in order to pursue our bhakti and our family life. We should come back to our family life and pursue bhakti there. That means with people with whom we will deal with are not of the same, does not have the same taste, and hence we should not associate with them. We will be forced to work closely with them, because that will be the nature of work that will demand it. However, we don't have to associate with them. Association is taking desires, from exchange of desires. Association happens when there is an exchange of desires. So we don't have to purchase their desires. We don't have to get bewildered by their their talk, and we don't have to take their desires, from them, so that is taking association. Rather, if we cannot give association, we can remain neutral at workplace, and we also don't end up taking their desires. So this way we can protect ourselves in from the outer world. But no matter how much we try to protect, if we are not cultivating devotee association, if we are not cultivating bhakti in association of devotees, we will fall short, and we will our fight will we will give up at some stage. So we need to have very strong devotee association as well, who will keep us, who will give us enough strength to fight the world outside. That's so this way, at multiple step, by following multiple techniques, we can operate in the world, deal with it to the extent necessary, and continue to cultivate our bhakti seamlessly. All that can be done. However, at some stage, we should desire to perform bhakti more. So as we said that initially we probably had 15 minutes dedicated for Krishna. Now with chanting itself consumes 2 hours, and so we should increase the time that we are performing Krishna conscious activities, in we should deliberately increase that proportion where we are engaged with Krishna more, and that can be easily done by following a practice of living life around Krishna. And we'll talk about the verses which describe eating, where again this point will come. But so we'll take the question towards the end typically, but because otherwise this is being a long discussion is planned. So let's see, if you have more questions you can probably post it or keep them for the end, and we can come back to any of these slides and we can discuss this. So any other thought anybody has, or should we move to another slide? Next slide.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Yes, Mukundraji.
See, from this verse and even from the earlier verse, what I feel is a learning, rather about the, that we are worried about the death and the wrong things, certain negative things happening in life. More importantly, in Bhagavad Gita, what Lord Krishna has taught is uh, Arjuna for fight for dharma. So I think it is a great learning given to all of everybody rather, is that many times we don't fight against the evils in the society. We only keep talking about them, and mostly the reason is because we are worried. We love our body. We feel that something may happen to me, and therefore we are worried to protest against that. So and therefore there are very few people who really come out of the society and fight for the noble cause. So maybe this also, these verses like, don't just love your body because it is anyway going to end, but the soul is going to be permanent. And we should we should try to be fearless and fight for the noble cause, as Lord Krishna told Arjuna to do that.
Yeah, so the noble cause is good. Dharma, the word dharma that is used in the Bhagavad Gita has been used in multiple ways. And so towards the end of or later Bhagavad Gita, the dharma has been clarified as the loving and serving Krishna. So performing activities as per the plan of Krishna is dharma. That as a service to Krishna is a dharma, and that is the dharma of every soul. Every other dharma is bogus dharma because that will not be in line with the Krishna's plan. So the dharma has also been defined as loving and serving Krishna. As a service, Arjuna was performing war. That is his devotional service. So that his dharma as a kshatriya was to fight, and there he fought war as a service to Krishna. And taking that example, and in our life where we can apply is wherever there is if wherever there is a service to Krishna is required, for anything to serve Krishna is required, we can take up that cause, and that will be our fight. uh, so the should we then engage with everything that we think is wrong, and should we keep engaging with all those things which we feel as wrong, and as our wrong as per our definition? If we see something wrong happening, yes, there could be something wrong that can be happening, and there will be our duty that could be there, that could be a matter of duty where we will have to intervene, and we can do by what best we can do. If anything wrong happening in front of us, we can interfere into that, and we can try and help people to the extent what we can. However, we must understand why wrong is also happening. We don't have to become insensitive in situations where we are practically which we practically face in our day-to-day life. However, on an overall basis, we should understand that no one experiences wrong by mistake. Everyone is bound to get their share of wrong. And knowing that also, we can be knowing this, we can be we can act cautiously. Otherwise, our objective of our life is to elevate our consciousness to Krishna consciousness and go back to Krishna. Yena mam upayantite. uh, and this, for this lifetime is need to be necessarily utilized for achieving this objective. So if we get caught up into other dharmas, other activities, we will not find time for this. So that's where the vyavasayitmaka buddhi becomes very handy. So
Hey,
Vikas, yes,
I'm
Manju.
Manju Mata. I want to add here. Sometimes when we raise some point, we find someone is wrong or some action is wrong, we do not get any because other person thinks from his perspective he or she is correct. So it adds to it leads to confrontation rather than giving any solution or adding to positivity. So how to address those situations?
That is going to be the situation, Nadaji. So we have to do what is our dharma, what is our duty in every situation. In every situation, there will have two sides. There will always be two sides to every situation. So well, we may feel something very strongly, and the other party in that argument can feel equally
Right.
strongly about that similar situation, and that's the nature of duality of the world. But
Right.
we have to do our duty. If we are in a, what is our duty in a situation, wherever whichever situation we may find ourselves into, as a as an individual soul, we will have certain duties. We will have primary duties towards Krishna and secondary duties towards the world around us. And whatever best we can do in every situation is what we should do. But um, take for example, if we find somebody getting some accident occur in front of us now, at a level of soul, that person who is suffered an accident also is a soul, is also is part and parcel of Krishna. So if we have capacity, if we have ability, we should try and help,
Help him.
offer
Yeah.
any help that can help that soul to recover and hopefully perform devotional service in rest of his life. uh, but take an example of some fight happening between two groups, two mobs, and we may have some knowledge about one mob being right. Do we have to necessarily join one of the mob and start fighting? Maybe, may not be. Because if we are not directly involved, if our role, if we are not in police, we are not a part of army, we may not have authority, we may not have proper understanding of the situation, we may not be required to join one of the gang and participate in the fight and get our head broken. So there could always be difficult, different situations could require different approach to be taken. But general sensible approach that we can all take is we have to do our duty. And it could be have this order that doing duty towards Krishna is primary, and then secondary is towards the world around us. And
Yes.
by having this knowledge will help us see things in this perspective, that if a person is dying, it's our duty to save him. If whatever we can do, if we are a doctor, we should try and help him, because that person is also a soul, that person is also a child of Krishna. So we can help that way we can help. But otherwise, we need to be little we can be little selective, and again, no one solution will apply to all situations. That's
Right.
also
Right. Okay.
required due diligence, and we can
Thank
apply
you.
our
Thank you,
thoughts.
Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you.
Vikas Babu, you wanted to share something on this previous slide?
Yeah, Prabhuji, if time permits. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
we,
So
we can
as
resume this session next Sunday also, because this we may not be able to finish, but whatever. Yeah, please go ahead.
there was one comment on the Vishal Prabhuji who asked about that when he sees the world around him, like they are trying to gain the materialistic opulences, or they are working hard to uh, prosper in the material things. So I was traveling back actually, and in train I met a lady who was talking to his relatives, and I was just listening, which I was she was telling that she is staying for many years in America, and in America, the the world which is famous for the materialistic things, the people are more so in a depressed state, and they are coming to terms with that they should stay in a combined family, like the parents should stay together with the sons or the daughters, so that this material loneliness and the depression can be taken care of. So the point is that even they are very opulent in the materialistic things, but the uh, the things they are facing, the challenges they are facing is the miseries of the materialistic world. Still the depressions are there. They are not enjoying their material opulences. So and coming to these verses, actually Bhoga Aishwarya Prasakram 244. Before that, in 41, hopefully, Krishna explains that what is the quality of the one who surrenders, or who comes in the devotional service of Krishna, who's uh, who is resolute in the Krishna consciousness. He only attains the Krishna consciousness. And again, means Krishna here tries to explain, if you don't try to be in that resolute, in one single pointed focus, then you will not be achieving the Krishna conscious goal, or rather you will be bewildered with the so many things coming to the particular individual. Like you, Prabhuji, you only mentioned, if even if we take this shloka in our practical life, if we are not focused to whatever we are doing, means whatever goal, if we, for example, we take that we are doing some work in office, and we are not very focused, very sincere, very attentive to that particular work, that work will not be finished. And similarly, if we don't take up the Krishna consciousness, like you as mentioned to Mataji, that the primary duty, then many illusions are inevitable to come. So, and again in the 249, as Krishna is explaining that who enjoys the fruit, their work, are miser. Srila Prabhupada Rajas goes one step forward, and he explains, His Divine Grace explains that they are thief, that because they are trying to steal the materialistic things which are the possessions of Krishna, and they are not offering it to Krishna, and they are rather trying to enjoy it. So rather they are thief. They are not only the
We'll come to
misers.
those verses. Yeah, the next set of verses will come to those.
Yeah, Prabhuji. And
Okay.
next is that for to mitigate this 249, if this 259 comes, that if we want to come to the taste of, we don't come to the taste of Krishna consciousness, we cannot leave the fruit of materialistic thing. Whatever materialistic work I am doing, I just want to the fruit of that. But once I engage myself in the higher taste of Krishna consciousness, that doesn't matter that whatever I am working in the materialistic thing, in the office thing, whether I get promoted or not, whether I get the appreciation or not, it doesn't matter. I'm just doing it as a duty bound, that since I have to remain in office, I have to do a particular job. I'm doing it for the sake of doing it, not for the sake of getting some kind of appreciation or some kind of material advancement, which is anyway inevitable to come by the mercy of Krishna only. So this can be done only since the fruits can be left alone only when we are engaged in the in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it is not possible. Thank you very much,
Yes,
Guruji.
Hare Krishna. So,
Hare Krishna.
yeah, that's nicely captured. Let's go to the next set of verses. Again, important set of verses. So the theme here is one should regulate mind, intelligence, and senses, and not simply use them for enjoyment. One should regulate. Regulation and use are two different things. Using indiscriminately and regulating is not depriving use. Regulation is using, but using as may be required, not overusing it, as we may say. So regulation of what? Of mind, intelligence, and senses, and not simply using them for our enjoyment. And the three verses are 2.60, which talks about Indriyani Pramathidi Haranti Prasabhamana. Haranti is like kidnapping, Prasabhamana forcefully, mana is mana. जिसका माइंड किडनैप हो सकता है. यतो यपि कौन्तेय पुरुषस्य विपश्चितः. Vipassita is the person who is trying, his discrimination, person of man of discrimination, who understand right and wrong, who is trying to do right thing, endeavoring to do right thing. And but such person's mind can also be kidnapped. Mind can be kidnapped. Indriyani pramathini. Indriya is senses. Our senses are not in our control. They can forcibly carry away or kidnap mind of a person, of a person of with discrimination. What to speak of those who have no discrimination, जिनको पता ही नहीं है भक्ति क्या है, जिनको शास्त्रों के बारे में पता नहीं है, भगवत गीता के बारे में पता नहीं है. For such people, उनकी what could be their condition? So their condition will be very, very bad. So their mind will be fully surrendered to the service of their senses. They will have no discrimination between right and wrong. So next verse is Indriyanam hi charta yanmano no vidhiyate tadasya harati prajna. So ऊपर के verse पे 60th verse was about haranti prasabha mana. This 67th verse is about haranti prajna. Harati prajna. Prajna is intelligence. As if vayur navam ivambasi. जैसे हवा के कारण बोट पानी के ऊपर चली जाती है, कोई भी स्वीप अवे जो हवा के डायरेक्शन में चली जाती है, इवन दो उनको कहीं और जाना हो. तो वैसे ही तदस्य हरति प्रज्ञा, इंटेलिजेंस ऑफ सच पर्सन्स कैन बी स्टोलन. थर्ड वर्स एवं this is 3.16 verse where Krishna is saying that aghayur indriya aramo mogham partha sajivati, that anybody living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such person lives in vain. Such person's life is useless. Now, sense gratification or improving qualities of facility for sense gratification is generally considered to be the goal of life. So people around us, if I analyze, everybody is trying to improve their facility for sense gratification or sense enjoyment. If you're living in, is the sleeping is a need, biological need for everyone. So if you're sleeping today in one room, you want to sleep in a home which has 2 rooms, then 3 rooms, then 5 rooms. If you're traveling in a small car or traveling by public transport, you want your own transport. Then you want to improve the quality of that transport. And from a smaller car to big car, and so on and so forth. So everywhere, this is what is generally considered to be the success in the world. The definition of success is if you are driving a small bicycle to a good quality 4-wheeler SUV, then you have progress in life. Otherwise, what is the use of what was the use of your life? Your life was useless. That has become the definition of success in this world. So yeah, we'd like to hear from devotees. How do we apply these verses in our life? What do we do learning these verses?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Harish Prabhuji.
Ever since I have started getting into Krishna consciousness, some of these things have started coming in my system, I would say, very systematically. The sense gratification part of it. Somehow I feel that those things have started going down, and no longer I am chasing those kind of things like materialistic satisfactions, and I can really sort of rationalize the thinking and intelligence to understand the purpose of life, and I can see that I could control my mind in such a way. After following the Krishna consciousness, I could take out time which I was never able to sort of even give to my family. Today I am giving a lot of time for Krishna consciousness, doing the mantra chanting, and doing a lot of other things for Krishna consciousness. What I'm trying to say is, I mean, as you rightly said, that people have been chasing for sense gratification and following this. I have started sort of, coming out of those things. And I mean, just to give an example, I was having a big car, and then I realized that since it is of no use today for me as a sort of, status, I do not need to keep it. So I sold it off. And I'm very happy because with that detachment of having the vehicle, I could get a lot of time which I was spending on unnecessary traveling or maintenance or running up around unnecessary in city. So I got a lot of time in hand to follow and go for the Krishna consciousness. So I mean, all in all, I understand that the sense gratification takes away the mind, and people spend a lot of time on those things, and they really lose the track of the purpose of life. I mean, this is just an observation in my personal life I can share.
Thank you so much, Roji, for sharing a wonderful realization, and very happy to know that how nicely you progress on this path. And that is true. That is true. The things actually stop mattering to us as we progress in the bhakti, and that's a very strong indication of that's happening. So it's again the whole point, as I mentioned in the Bhogeshwari Prasaktanam also verse also, that you don't give up necessarily. Have that doesn't have to become that either if I don't have anything, then we are progressing. That not necessarily, but your attachment should go. Like we often give example of Prahlad Maharaj. Again, he asked from Narsimhadev that he should not have any attachment to the material sense gratification. He should not get entangled in those things, and that is what he asked as a boon from Narsimhadev. Dhruva Maharaj, when he saw Lord, though he performed his austerity for 6 months with a desire to have a kingdom bigger than his father, but when he saw Lord in face to face, his desire was completely gone. He was completely purified, and then he from then on, so they both become king. The Dhruva Maharaj also becomes king. He fight wars. His brother was killed, and he fight big war with yakshas. Now all those, and then obviously he was a ruler. He had wives, he had children, he had palaces, he had opulence. He had everything as if uh, as normal king would have, but he was never attached to those things. He when then the time came, he gave up everything, and he went to the plane came from Vaikuntha, and he traveled in his own body in Vaikuntha. And so so that's that's the example. These are the role models whom we have, and who possess the opulence, not necessarily has to give up the opulence, but they are not attached, entangled with those opulence. It does not consume their 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 focus, their energy remains on serving Lord. It doesn't get consumed by maintenance of those opulence and their attachment to those opulence. So again, it's a tightrope walk, but devotees do that with mercy of Krishna, and so that they can focus on Krishna, make Krishna their goal, not go to Krishna for asking help for achieving their other goals. Any
Thank
other
you, Prabhu.
thoughts anyone has?
Hare
On the
Krishna.
Prabhuji, I
Can
would
I?
like to say, something.
yes, Anand Project.
Uh, Arjuna is called, as Arjuna rightly pointed out, that it is very difficult to control the mind and senses. So, these senses can be controlled by performing yoga. By yogic, by following yoga, we can take control over the mind. And Lord Krishna is also called Rishikesha, who is supreme controller of all the senses. So by my emphasis is on by doing yoga, by doing disciplinic yoga, practicing yoga or devotional service, we can take control over the mind, mind and intelligence.
Yes, that's 61st verse is where Krishna gives an example that yes, if your problem is engaging your indriya, then engage them in me, and thereby you can
Right.
exercise good control over them. And then Prabhupada gives example of Ambarish Maharaj, who engaged all his senses in serving Krishna. Thereby he had complete control over those senses. So here the objective is to control senses, and not to control senses to do something else. control your senses, control your mind, control your indriya, intelligence, to engage them in serving Krishna, to engage them in service of Krishna. Not to, because if you think about any field where somebody is successful, they will have to control their senses, they will have to control their mind. If you are a singer, if you have a recording tomorrow, you may have a desire, your mind may tell you to eat 2 ice creams night before the recording. If you are a sensible singer, you will control your senses. Now the objective of controlling senses is to sing tomorrow, not to sing, not necessarily to sing for glorifying Krishna tomorrow. If that is the case, then it's a devotional service. But in the first case, it's the object of controlled senses is not Krishna. If that is Krishna, then that's devotional service. Then that is what is recommended as yoga. Otherwise, the other form of yoga will eventually lead us to will not be helpful, will get destroyed in fact and with us, and we'll have to restart our program of program of self-realization in our next birth, by seeking mercy of devotees available at that point of time.
Prabhuji, but this performing yoga is really very difficult as on in the modern days. So
performing bhakti yoga is not difficult. As Krishna says, performing bhakti yoga is easy, sulabha. Tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yoginam. So in the 8th chapter, 14th verse, Krishna says that this is easy. Performing yoga is impossible for in the today's world, because Arjuna says he cannot control his mind. What to speak of other people like us? So there is no question, no hope for us to perform yoga. But bhakti yoga is possible. Bhakti yoga, by which you are engaged in activities in such a way, you design your activities in such a way that you're always remembering Krishna. Okay, so that's just okay. Yeah, sir, we are done. Any other thoughts on this?
Prabhuji, just wanted to know this bhakti process. There are 7 modes of devotional service. No? There are 7 ways of performing bhakti, 7 or 9 ways of performing.
9 ways. Navavidha bhakti it is called. Yes.
Bhakti. Okay.
So Shravana Kirtana, Vishnu Smaranam,
Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam,
and so on and so forth. So there are 9 processes of bhakti.
9 ways. 9 processes.
Yeah, 9 ways in which we can perform bhakti.
By following 9 processes, we can take control over mind. We can have a good. We can overcome our mind, like from material sense.
Yes, yes. We can engage controlled mind in service of Krishna. That's the whole point. Chetan Rauji, you have raised hand, so you have a question on this?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Yes, just to add up on because all the Prabhujis have already added the comments and actually the importance of the Krishna consciousness and how it is to be engaged in Krishna. Just one thought from my end is that basically we all engaged in the sansar, basically in the sansaric jivan. So the earning of the money is one of the important aspect of the life. But we need to see that how much our essentials, how can we limit our essentials, and not to be running too much behind the just earning to see that my life is getting elevated. But instead that whatever we earn, that we should also put into the service of Lord Krishna. So that will also basically limit us, and our aspirations towards a richer life, means towards Krishna consciousness, will be much better than getting into the materialistic aspects.
Very nice, Roji. Thank you so much for sharing this.
Prabhu, here I would just wanted to share one. I mean, thank you very much for bringing these 3 very important verses, because it clears a lot of dilemmas into our mind. That one was like, uh, are we falling prey to our senses, and is it, because here I think these verses explain that it is perfectly normal that the strong senses will divert our mind and will change our focus. And I think these verses explain very well that you don't have to be in dilemma or sense of guiltiness that this, that you are always getting diverted, but always try to keep a focus. And I think this all three verses explains that very well. That's my understanding, Prabhu.
Yes, Roji, you're right. And so it's problem for everyone. It's not that unique to ourselves. The mind and the senses who are constantly seeking sense objects, searching for sense object for enjoyment, and sending those signals to the mind manufacturing desires for enjoying those sense objects, and creating fantasies of enjoyments. All that is common. That's there for everyone, and that's there for, that's how this world has been moving of late. However, there is a way, another way of this as well, that even though the sense signals may come in, mind can reject it. Mind can get strength to reject it when it is under the shelter of intelligence, who has cultivated right knowledge. Right vidya can help mind reject those inputs coming from the sense objects, and at the same time keep focus on service of Krishna. So this is, without involving Krishna, doing all these things are impossible. Without involving Krishna, without bringing Krishna into the process, like, what do we do when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the morning? What are we doing? We are strengthening our mind. We are cultivating, we are making our mind powerful. We are giving our mind extra energy, extra strength to deal with senses and the sense objects, not to have wrong desires planted, not to have seeds of wrong desires planted there. Even if something is there, remove it, clean it, cheto darpana marjana, so that this is the process. The mantra meditation is a process of cleaning the mind. You clean, you hit where it hurts most. Mind is the bigger problem. Is the biggest problem that we all possess today. Is the biggest enemy that we all possess today. uh, we should, at no stage we should trust our mind too much. We should not trust our mind too much. It may get tamed today, but tomorrow it may just show us a completely different picture. So these are the verses which comes at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is saying that the focus is that use your senses, like use your facility for sleeping to pass from the IIT, to pass from the IIM. Don't entangle too much into the creating a facility to sleep nicely in the hostel. Use that facility, whatever is there, you improve whatever to the best of your ability, but focus on study, focus on bhakti to get out of this world. Use this facility to get out of this college, use this facility to get out of this world. So using and getting entangling, enjoying are two different things. So our focus is on using. Don't give up. It's not that after becoming devotee we will not need to eat, we will not need to sleep, we will not will have to do all those things as long as we live. So objective is to use the material knowledge to cultivate Krishna consciousness and get out of this world at the end of our life. So that's the purpose of this. We'll see. Hopefully, the last set of verses will close at 1. And act for Krishna. The theme here is, I would like to hear from others who have not spoken so far. Feel free to give your understanding. It might not be the best, or no need to be right always. We can be wrong and we can be corrected. please feel free for that. And but please speak out so that we know what is it that you all are thinking about this. So in the first verse, Krishna says, give us a general principle that work should be performed as a service to Krishna. Otherwise, it causes bondage in the material world. Work should be performed for Krishna, satisfaction of Krishna. So that's the principle that he gives. Then he gives the example that Yajna Shishta Shinasanto, that about the eating. Eating is an activity that everybody will do. Now, act for Krishna means, now in terms of eating, how can we bring Krishna into this activity? Now, this is one activity which will be done by everyone throughout the day, all 24 days. So Krishna gives this as an example that the devotees of the Lord are released from all kind of sins because they eat food which is first offered to Krishna, which is for the sacrifice is Krishna. And others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment eat sin only. And then in the 26th verse of 9th chapter, Krishna gives that what can be offered to him, that patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya praishchati. So if anyone offers to me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit and water, I accept it. So his demands are very simple. Anything sattvic, all sattvic, using sattvic ingredients, if you prepare food with love and devotion. So the ingredient of love and devotion is the most important ingredient in this case. And if you have that, and if you offer it to Krishna with love and devotion, Krishna accepts it, Krishna eats it. And so this is an example. So the principle is given in the first verse, example is given in the subsequent verses. And then how that is done, what Krishna gives further hint as to when you have to offer to Krishna, what is it that you should be offering. So how we apply this verse in our life.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Just before commenting on this, I would like to give a big Haribol to Haresh Prabhuji, who just commented so beautifully that he has quitted his material possessions, which were just unnecessary. So a big Haribol to him. And in the last verse, slide, the set of verses, I was just trying to make a point also that the senses, they are so strong, but how they can be controlled is the association of devotees. The more the association of devotees is there, the chances of falling in prey to the senses is reduced to that extent. Means it is directly proportional. It's, or we can say rather it is inversely proportional, because the more we are in the time of in the association of devotees, the lesser we are prone to fall prey to the senses. So, and in this verse, that this is the direct thing Krishna is explaining, that since everything belongs to me, means there is nothing like if we go by the chapter 7 and 10, and
We'll come
we
to those
look.
set of verses later, Prabhuji.
Okay,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
we can. Yeah, maybe we can comment later. We'll just see if somebody else has to comment, and then you can comment.
Sure,
If
Prabhuji.
that's fine.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Prabhuji, may I speak?
Yes, Mataji.
No, somebody was speaking.
No,
Let
keep
us,
yourself
Mataji.
unmuted. So I'll just take names. Jigna Mataji is there, so she can unmute. Jigna Mataji,
Yeah,
you can be on unmute. You can speak after Jaishi Mataji.
okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare
I just
Krishna.
wanted to add that while going through the process of Krishna consciousness through you and the entire devotee association, I could feel that the change happens and we get connected more towards Krishna. And in between, when I deviated from this process, I could feel that senses were taking over me. And again, because of the connect which was continuously given by you, I could stay afloat. And I am reconnected with this path towards Krishna consciousness. So thank you so much, Prabhu. So it really happens. Yeah, I could experience that, the connect and the disconnect. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So, with specific to this verse, Mataji, you have any specific comment? How you apply this verse in your life? How can anybody apply these verses in their life? How can we do work for Krishna? And then example is given that of eating.
You're
Hare
asking
Krishna,
me.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Rashmi Mataji, yes, go ahead.
Yes, so I just want to share my experience. I joined this chanting since January this year, and I don't sit at one place and chant. But whenever the chanting starts, I start my cooking and the preparation for the tiffins because the people have to go for office and all. So whenever I listen to chanting and I'm cooking, I am really very happy and I don't know how fast the work is finished. And throughout the day, then I feel really very energetic and happy. But sometimes it doesn't happen and I miss the chanting sessions, and then I feel the difference, like whenever I'm going to cook, like it happened today that I wanted to join this session also and my cooking was pending, so I got angry that I'm not able to devote time for the session. So chanting in first thing in the morning is very very important, as you said, and the day goes very happy and very energetically. So I would like to continue the chanting sessions and get this happiness and pleasure of Krishna consciousness. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's true. That's I think this is probably one thing that is that has been experienced and shared by most of devotees, if not all. And most of them have said this, that if they miss chanting somehow in the morning, then and whenever they take up chanting towards later in the day, it's very horrible chanting. It's just can't pay attention, and also the day goes in the very turbulent way, if they may say. So Jigna Mataji, you can unmute, you can speak, and then we can go to Chetan Prabhu and Mili Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, this is regarding previous verses, what we just discussed. I just wanted to add one thing. What I have personally experienced is understanding the most important knowledge is the permanency. When this is not permanent. So, I mean, once you know and you're completely convinced about the fact that neither the body form is permanent nor these sense enjoyments, I think that knowledge is very effective to detach and to and then of course work towards the ultimate goal.
Okay, but this is the one, right? Give up attachment to the temporary. So again, not again there's not word play. This is actually the instruction that give up attachment to the temporary. Don't give up temporary, because giving up temporary
No. My point is
will be
actually
a
that
problem. So
when
yes, and your
yeah,
point is right. No, I understood that. I
no, the
just wanted to bring out
permanency.
the
Once you
difference.
know that this is
Yes,
not a permanent thing, and that attachment immediately goes when you
goes
know that
away.
it is not a permanent thing.
Yes, and yeah, the problem is the how that can knowledge, how we can carry that knowledge throughout the day. We may know it, it can come to us as a flash, but as we step out in the world to operate, this may get layered or may get covered. I also, but yes, you're right. Okay, if we can somehow remember it permanently, then that detachment can actually come to us. We can actually get detached from the temporary things. But again, as I said, we don't have to give up temporary. We just have to be detached with those temporary things.
Yeah, then the process starts when you know that what is your ultimate goal. But
That's
that
right.
knowledge of not the impermanence of sense enjoyment, I think if you understand it well, it goes a long way.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. Anybody, Chetan Prabhuji, Mili Mataji.
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna,
about
Prabhuji.
this,
Yeah, we are on this set of
Go on,
verses.
Prabhuji, please.
yeah, about the
So Swapnil
obstacle
Prabhu, we'll
Krishna.
come to you. I think we probably have a couple of hands raised,
Yeah,
so we'll just give them chance. Chetan Prabhu, you want to go first, and then Mili Mataji, or Mili Mataji, you can start. Prabhuji is.
Nothing, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I also just wanted to add कि हाँ ये जो morning session का जब जपा miss हो जाता है तो all day throughout the day mind is like anxious कि मेरा chanting नहीं हुआ and that keeps on going on in my head. And secondly, really, I have also felt the difference after coming into Krishna consciousness now. Ki, theek hai, whatever chances we are getting to do the service, we must do. Like very recently, I have started doing Annadan in our Dwarka temple. So every month I go there, whatever amount is I feel like donating, I donate. And when I go to the temple, I see people around them. I feel that yes, this is the world. This is the real world. I mean, people around your society, they are like, what kind of clothes she is wearing, or what kind of car she is driving. These kind of materialistic things are there. But when you go to the temple and see that surroundings in temple, you feel the real difference. And इसी से फिर अपना माइंड को भी हम कंट्रोल करना सीखते हैं कि नहीं, हमको हम जिंदगी में क्यों आए हैं, why we have been given the human life, we should prosper for that only.
Yes, very nice, Rasham. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. If given a chance, you can own up aeroplane also, but that is not the goal of your life. Your goal of life is to go back to Krishna. Yena mam upayanti te, by which they can come to me. This is Krishna's plan. So we have to align all our actions with Krishna's plans. But anything specific to these verses?
Prabhuji, can I speak?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, by offering prasadam to Krishna and then to Brahmanas, we are able to please the Lord Krishna. He becomes very happy with that, and it will also ultimately lead us to higher taste to Krishna consciousness.
Correct. So that's very very simple. Yes, I think
prasadam to Krishna.
eating prasadam only.
Yes.
That's the theme. That's the theme of this verses, that eat whatever you eat, offer it to Krishna and eat.
Krishna.
Otherwise, as Vikas Prabhu was mentioning, that we eat, Krishna says that is eating sin only, because you are being ungrateful. You could not even manufacture 1 grain of rice, but why you're eating it? You think it's created for you. This is the illusion. That's like acting sinfully. Swapnil Prabhu, you may go ahead. Anything to contribute on these verses?
Yeah, about these verses, basically want to share one personal experience. Probably everyone here must have experienced the same, and I love to mention that food, after offering it to Krishna, all of what we feel, that all of a sudden we are loving that food, and once we offer it to Krishna, we feel that the prasadam is a divine, even though it is prepared in a simple recipe, but it gives a lot of satisfaction and something we feel that we are getting blessed. That is the experience I wanted to share. That's all.
Yes, that's a very common experience, and to get that experience daily, we should offer daily. Whatever we cook at home, we should offer daily. Yajna Shishta Sina Sinto. The Santo, Prabhupada translates Santa as those who are in love with Krishna, those who love Krishna. So this is not to be done as a matter of ritual. कि बोला है प्रभु जी ने कि कृष्णा ने बोला है तो कर देते हैं ऑफर. It should be done with love. When it is done with love and devotion, it becomes prasad, because Krishna accepts it, Krishna eats it, and then he left whatever he left over in his plate. After eating, if whatever is left over in the plate, we eat that as prasad. So a simple practical application of these set of verses is start with our food, because we do spend a considerable amount of time in food. With food, either we are purchasing food, either we are storing food, or we are preparing food, and we are honoring food, we are eating food, and all this while, or we are planning for all these things. So we spend, out of 24 hours, we spend considerable amount of time on food, right from the moment we wake up till we sleep. So a simple principle to be followed is to offer whatever you prepare for your consumption to Krishna first. So the better approach is to prepare for Krishna, prepare purchase food for offering it to Krishna. Then you will purchase the best quality food that is available, that you can purchase given your time, place, and circumstances. So this is the principle. This is the practical application, and it is so simple. We can offer it to a deity if we have any in our home. We can offer it to a picture of Krishna, where whatever is, if we can have a picture of Krishna, we can offer it to him. He can eat. He will eat if it is offered with love and devotion. We can offer it in our mind also. So much facility. You can't say we cannot offer. So you can say that problem if you have prepared a food which is not offerable in the
Prabhuji, we have
process.
to offer sattvic food. That is
Sattvic way to
separate.
prepare sattvic food,
Sattvic.
offer it to Krishna with tulsi, and then consume. Take it as prasad. So that's the simple principle that we can look forward to follow, and this is we do this not as a ritual but out of love, out of our own affection, because if that to be followed, if this principle has to be followed, then the obvious choice will be what will go out: onion and garlic and meat and mushroom, all that will go out of equation. Then no such food can be prepared also, because no such food can be offered also, because we have to prepare sattvic food. These food ingredients don't form part of sattvic food stuff, and so we give up these not to be in line with the ritual, but out of our love for Krishna. So because we love Krishna so much, because we have love for Krishna, because even if we don't have love for Krishna, we want to develop love and affection for Krishna. Hence, if we want to align our mind and our plans with Krishna's plans, and to seek this alignment, we need to be aligned with Krishna's, we need to align our activities with Krishna's plan. And to that, at least we should align our food eating with Krishna's plan. Because if we prepare food which is not offerable, then we will end up eating food which is not offered. That Krishna says is papa, is bhujante is they eat verily sin only. Now that is sinful. So such eating is sinful, and we've been eating sinful eating for probably up till we came to Krishna consciousness for so many years, and prior to that, I don't know for how many lifetimes. So by this simple activity, imagine the amount of sin all of us probably would have accumulated for ourselves to be fructified in future. So this is Krishna consciousness activities, and the doing everything for satisfaction of Krishna, working for satisfaction of Krishna, eating for satisfaction of Krishna, traveling for satisfaction of Krishna, going to temple for satisfaction of Krishna. So doing every action by having Krishna at the center, serving Krishna, pleasing Krishna, making that the goal of all our activities. So going to office can also become service to Krishna. When we go to office with by thinking that we are going to take care of souls who are interested, who are in our custody, our wife, our children, our parents. Now all these are Krishna's children. They are all interested in our custody, and it is our duty to take care of them. And hence we go to office and we work in with this thought in our background that this proceeds will be used for service of Krishna, through serving his our family member, and by directly contributing to the cause of Krishna consciousness. It could be annadan, it could be temple construction, it could be deity service, or it could be any other means by way of which we can help Krishna and his devotees. So this is the simple principle that we learn out of this set of verses. Any comments, last few comments, and or before we close today's session?
Prabhuji, Harish here.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Can you just go to the previous slide? Yeah, in this 3.16, could you please elaborate on cycle of sacrifice? A bit clarification I need on that.
Sure. So this verse comes in the third chapter, and the third chapter is titled as Karma Yoga, wherein Krishna says the humans subsist on grains, anna. Humans subsist on anna, and are produced by rains. And rains happen because of karma, because of sacrifice. And the sacrifice comes from Vedas. So there is a cycle that we generally we discussed that when we talked about third chapter verses, but this is the cycle, and then you should never give up performance of activities. That was the bottom theme that Krishna is discussing here. And this chakra is required because having taken human birth, so the beginning of third chapter, Arjuna is thinking by accepting becoming a sannyasi, by going to jungle, he can avoid karma and thereby the karmic reactions, and because of the reactions the fruit of action, and then the entanglement. But Krishna is declining it very clearly, saying that even for a moment you cannot avoid performing karma. So perform right karma, do right kind of activities. Don't think that so by stop you that, but don't think that you will be able to stop the performing activities. That cannot be done. So this is the theme, and then he gives the cycle of sacrifice, and these are the some of the verses that he talks about in that as part of that cycle of sacrifice.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. You explained means very important verses. So, if we talk about the sense control, so in this, means my realization is that out of means whatever the means indriyas we have, tongue is very much important, because all the day means we are eating, and if we don't eat proper food or we don't regulate our tongue, so actually we are incurring sin only. And by incurring with these sins, we actually bound to so many life cycles. So we should regulate our tongue in such a way, so either incurring sin, we should create good karmas. So by eating Krishna's prasadam, we can do good things in such a way.
Correct. You're right, Prabhuji. Thanks for mentioning this. That tongue is the most important organ, and we use it for talking, we use it for eating, and both ways, we can degrade ourselves if we misuse it. So if you use taste food or tongue for tasting food which is not offered, we'll degrade ourselves. And if you use our tongue for not glorifying Krishna but talking everything else other than glorification of Krishna, then even that is misuse of our facility given. So thanks for bringing out this important point.
Prabhuji,
Yes,
may I
madam.
speak? Just
Yes,
one
yes.
small point. Regarding the verses mentioned right now, Ekadashi fasting has really helped to, practice these verses, particularly with food and everything, control over food, and offering to Krishna and then eating. I'm not able to do every day, but at least on Ekadashi day, when it is done, it gives a lot of satisfaction.
Yes, but again, this can be done every day also, and again, this will bring change in one's life, because suddenly people around us will notice this, that you're refusing to eat all kind of food, you are being choosy about what you eat, and that happens always with knowledge. So more the knowledge one gets, more the purification happens, and more the change occur in one's lifestyle. So simple example could be, all of us probably could be, some of us could be eating a meat earlier, but when we learn the knowledge of non-violence, we can easily give up meat eating.
Yes.
Similarly, with more knowledge that food meant to be offered to Krishna first, and the onion garlic, even if it is vegetarian, considered vegetarian, it's non-offerable. And we have to develop a loving relationship with Krishna. And if that is to be pursued, then as a matter of our sacrifice, we should also not eat which is not offerable to Krishna, which should, which even if in the mind we cannot offer it to Krishna, such food, then even we should give up our taste for consumption for such
Yes.
for
Yes.
food stuff. So a lot
Yes.
of us, a lot of the devotees who were enjoying meat eating also earlier, with knowledge they could give up meat eating also. So with knowledge, one should be able to give up even you know, eating onion garlic also. And when
Yes.
that happens, then everything can be offered to Krishna, right?
Yes.
Starting from morning milk to
Ah,
full lunch to
ah.
evening dinner, everything can be then offered to Krishna.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That way, but that will bring change in one's own lifestyle, that will bring change, and that change will be noticed, people by the people, and then
Yeah.
we should be able to sustain through that change,
Yes.
with conviction and with
Yes.
our firmness.
Yes.
And then that's the sacrifice Krishna is
Ah,
demanding from us also.
correct.
Okay.
Correct. I have stopped eating meat since last year.
Yeah.
Since I started fasting for Ekadashi, all Ekadashis. So I have stopped eating meat. The garlic and onion also I've reduced like anything. Uh, very soon that also will be stopped.
Very well. Very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else want to share anything? We can otherwise close today's call. Vikas Prabhu, you're saying something. You can comment on
Hare
some of
Krishna,
the
Prabhuji.
previous verses or these verses.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, sir.
You have
Hare
already
Krishna.
explained the 3.9 aspect of it, like whatever we are doing in our day-to-day life, be it deity worship, be it going to temple, be it going to office, that how we can relate it to Krishna and how we can remain free from bondage. And that is the ultimate motive of Krishna to say this. And again, that Yagni Sistasina Santo, many of the Prabhujis has wonderfully explained that the eating of the remnant of Krishna is does wonder in their life, in everybody's life rather, because I have the live example of my better half that she used to crave for on Sunday we used to go for this to visit temple, and there used to be feast on the, and most of the time we used to get the khichdi, and that khichdi used to be like the transcendental khichdi rather, means the never eaten before khichdi type. So that is the impact of prasadam of Krishna. And again the patram pushpam phalam toyam. So in this regard, some of the devotees who were coming to listen to Srila Prabhupada, they asked that you are asking us to refrain from eating meat. Why you are asking us to eat the this vegetables, even though the vegetables have got the life? So then also we will be incurring sins. You are talking about sin, that eating meat is a sin. So eating vegetables is also sin. So that struck my mind that Srila Prabhupada gave them the beautiful example of that you should become the Krishnatarian. You should neither be vegetarian, nor should be non-vegetarian. You should be Krishnatarian. You should eat only and only the food or the stuff, the sattvic stuff offered to Krishna. Then only it should be eaten. And rather as the two aspects mentioned in it, the love and devotion, these are the bhava of the one who is offering the sattvic things to Krishna. So Krishna does not eat, even is not interested in the things we are offering to him. He is interested in our bhavs, because the bhavs are purely ours. Rather everything else, the food offered to Krishna belongs to Krishna
Belongs to
only.
Krishna.
So
Yeah,
we are
very
not
nice
offering
point.
anything to him.
Yes,
Yes,
very
Prabhuji.
nice
And that,
point. Yeah.
yes, Prabhuji. And that bhava also comes from the Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Means he is only providing us that knowledge that you should become the liquid. Means one of our Acharya, he was explaining that the simplicity should be the most important aspect of one devotional service. Because with the simplicity, the liquidity of heart comes. And when the liquidity of heart comes, Krishna appears. So, so once Krishna appears, then only these kind of bhav starts coming, that these things does not belongs to me. Whatever I'm offering to you, it is of yours only. The technique of the recipe, how to prepare these things is given by you. I am just a belittled servant of yours, or the servant of yours. Please accept this as my offering. So that as Srila Prabhupada and His Grace Amoglia Prabhuji also in one of his lecture was explaining that the Krishna likes to accept, or Krishna accepts solely the bhav of the one who is offering to him. So it is the big mercy of Krishna, that means everything belongs to him and he is giving the credit to us, that even if we offer him through the mind that I am offering you this much big bhoga, he accepts that. So the wonderful one means, why not to be Krishna conscious? There is no point to remain non Krishna conscious throughout the life. Means that is the big mercy of Krishna, means that is the greatness of Krishna, that we should we are not even the particle in front of that. So that is the great
Yes,
one. And
nice points made up. So important point is
Prabhuji,
nothing belongs to us, everything belongs to Krishna. Our bhav also, our sincerity, the ego is ours. So if we change our ego to Krishna's ego, that we are Krishna's devotee, then that will manifest this mood that with then the love for Krishna can manifest. That if we can take pride of in being Krishna's devotee, in accepting Krishna wholeheartedly as the supreme lord, as Arjuna has accepted, then this manifestation of this bhav is not very difficult. Then Krishna will help us get that manifested, and then with which we can offer love, offering with love and devotion, that will be done. But even if we don't have that bhav today, we should still do it. We should still do it, and the bhava will manifest eventually. Yes,
Prabhuji,
Satyam.
Prabhuji, a small dilemma here. I mean, when we offer our food and when we say the sattvic food, but from the market what we buy, probably they are a lot of preservatives and chemicals and all that added, which we are not, because of our limited senses, able to understand. So does offering to Krishna also removes that toxicity within that food which must be there, and probably we should be out of dilemma that it's not improper to offer a food.
Yeah. So from
Not purely
offerability standpoint, there are gradings. So in the Gurukul we have in Mayapur, the children grow their grain, grow their vegetables. They have they don't consume anything from outside. So everything that they cook with is grown by them. They have farm. So this is at one level, at the best level, that you offer food which is farm, where you are only the farming it, you are only producing it, you are only cooking it, you are only offering it. This is the best. And then there will be levels of that best, levels down. So this is the ultimate best, and then there will be one level down, we can come. Given our current situation, it's easy to identify sattvic and non-sattvic food stuff, or ingredients. Now, using whatever is available, then there could be there's a fruit which we may offer. We will not have ability to bifurcate or identify whether this is artificially ripened food or it's a naturally ripened food. To that extent, we need not be over worried about things. As long as we are offering fruit, we should offer it with love and devotion. So we should not further complicate things, because there will be levels in which we may offer. At some stage, if we are able to produce our own grain organically and then offer, that is best, and we should do that whenever that is available to us, that facility is available to us. But until such time, we should offer what best we can offer, and hence the bar is set really very low. That Krishna in the verse 26 is saying about some basic things. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Basic things which nobody can claim not to possess these things. But if we have more, we should offer more. We should have a nice bhoga preparation. We should organize for chapan bhog preparation. We should have those kind of plans also for ourselves, like how we have parties planned for ourselves. We should have party plan for Lord also. And so that should be the mood that we should continue to serve Krishna. And eating is such an important activity in our life, and if that can be Krishnaized, or if we can become prasadetarian, as Vikas Prabhu was also mentioning, Prabhupada has introduced this term in English, that neither vegetarian but it's prasadetarian, that we eat prasad. prasad is mercy. Food first offer to Krishna. So offer to Krishna, whatever you cook, offer to Krishna and then eat. That will be wonderful.
Prabhuji, just one small incident I can share.
Yep.
If we have 1 minute time.
Yes, sir. We can.
One of the Ekadashi days, we had offered laddu on Krishna's prasad, you know. And then when we took that prasad, we found that that prasadam laddu was not having any sweetness, you know. And it was all laddus were prepared with the same material. So, I mean, we were wondering whether is it that there was a mistake from our side that we have offered a laddu without sugar or without sweetness to Krishna, or Krishna has taken away the sweet from the laddu. I mean, he has accepted our offers.
So could have been the first one. Probably might not have prepared food with whatever the sweeter ingredient.
Yeah.
But yeah, Krishna can
Because
eat the whole laddu.
It
Why?
was a big occasion. I'm forgetting. It was month of March. We were in Pune, and we had visited the NVCC Pune temple.
It's
On that
around the
particular-
Gaur Purnima?
Yeah,
Or after
Gaur
Gaur Purnima. Okay.
Yeah. On that particular day, it happened. No? So that has been on my mind for a long time.
Yes. So he can make the whole laddu disappear or whole plate of laddu disappear. What to speak of sugar from laddu? Yeah, please continue offering, and Lord will reciprocate.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Yeah, we
Hare
there are,
Krishna,
I think,
Prabhuji.
yes, Prabhu.
I'm taking much extra time, Prabhuji. Actually, the Prabhuji was mentioning that the ingredient we bring from the market. I remember just one quote by His Grace Sitaram Prabhuji, that he was mentioning the conversation of Tamal Krishna Maharaj with Srila Prabhupada. When in the Vrindavan temple making, Tamal Krishna Maharaj says that there is the big list of the problems. Then Srila Prabhupada says that go to the deities of Sri Krishna Balram and say, my dear sir, I have this type of problems. Please please provide me the solutions. So we can add this one type of offering to Krishna also, that these ingredients I have bought. It is not in my hand that what these possesses, but you have got the all authorities, all the power that you can remove everything out of it, and please accept only my vows out of that. So and Krishna listens to that. That means there are many instances that Krishna has listened to that, and Krishna has accepted that. So that also can be done. Means that just came to my mind, so I thought of sharing it.
Yeah, so when we offer, we can offer prayers, and our prayers can be in English or in any other language that we are comfortable speaking. And this is one of the things that you can mention, that these are not produced by us. We believe farmers have produced it in all all with due care, and not use toxic chemicals. Even if they are there, please remove them, please accept it with them, or please help remove those toxic nature of out of those, and eat the fruit as it is supposed to be. We can offer those prayers in our language, in our way, but as Prabhuji was mentioning, that Krishna can consume sweet out of a laddu, can remove chemical and eat the balanced fruit, and can eat the whole thing also with chemicals, because chemicals are also coming from him. So he can deal with it. He can leave that part to Krishna, but offer it to Krishna with love and devotion. We say Yatha Shakti is one of the word that we often use in puja or in offerings, that jitna hamara shakti hai, whatever we have done our best, and with that should be our mood, and then Krishna will accept it. Because beyond that, at given current stage, nothing is possible for us. It's not possible for us to create a farm and manufacture our own grains. So this is Yatha Shakti. So as much as best we can, we have given this facility. We are giving this to you, offering it to you. Please accept it, and that is acceptable. That's in the normal Falashruti also. this is always used, that यथा शक्ति दान होता है, यथा शक्ति भोगा offering होता है, and which is acceptable to Lord, perfectly all right. So what is not in our control? Krishna is not a demanding God. Even though he is opulent God, or he is all opulent God, his expectations from us are very basic. So even if we can do this, he's happy, more than happy with us. So again, that should be our mood, that we should if we can afford milk, we should not offer water, just water, saying that after the bola tha toyam. When we can offer nice bhoga, we should not do कंजूशी there in preparation भोगा, कि हमारे लिए अच्छा से बना लो, कृष्णा के लिए ऐसे ही कर लो. Lot of people actually offer दूध शक्कर to Krishna as if he is only interested in that, and for themselves they prepare nice bhoga which they don't offer but eat. That should be changed. That should not be the mood. When we the mood should be that of love for Krishna, and involving Krishna in all the activities that we do, and eating being the most important activity. If we involve Krishna in our eating, we are Krishna conscious half for almost 12 hours of the day, because we are food conscious for almost 12 hours of our day.
Prabhuji, a small question again. I mean, we are talking about physical nature of the ingredients prepared for the prasadam. There's something invisible also which goes, that should we engage into buying of vegetables and fruits by engaging into negotiations and bargains, or we should simply avoid that and get that ingredients, and that will also help others and sell, and that's the invisible part of the prasadam which goes with it.
So the
total devotion.
ingredients, yes, the ingredients that you will purchase should be the best ingredients in the given the time, place, circumstance. So if we, when devotees also go out, they buy from the best farmers, the best quality product. Whatever best, again, not if best is costing and we don't have means to purchase that, which is okay. We will go for what best we can achieve. And out of that, whatever, if we are buying flour or tomatoes or potatoes, we obviously will avoid taking dented or spoiled food stuff, which is not so good stuff. So we'll buy whatever our means will allow us to purchase. We can purchase the best possible vegetables. So that's why the shopping also is a bhakti, is a Krishna conscious activity. Even shopping for Krishna, buying vegetables for Krishna is also a devotional activity. If we do it in that mode, that this is, I have to offer it to Krishna, so I have to buy what best I can buy, whatever best I can get, and whatever best I can afford given current time, place, and circumstance. So there are no standards. Again, standards are very low that Krishna has set, that give me anything I will accept as long as you give it with love and devotion. Now that, keeping that in mind, when we go to market, we should have that mood, that this is to be offered to Krishna. Should we bargain? Should we not bargain? Yes, wherever we can buy food stuff, we don't have to pay the highest price, and that does not necessarily show our love for Krishna. That we can be reasonable. We can be practical there, and reasonable in terms of spending, but we have to buy what best we can afford given the time, place, and circumstance. That is doable. That is very practical.
Okay. So with our logic, we can procure and buy, but
yes,
not
but
necessarily too much.
Not necessarily. Yes, we don't have to make it overcomplicated, but we should know that this is for offering to Krishna. So we should have that consciousness. If we have that consciousness in the marketplace also, we are Krishna conscious. We are thinking about Krishna.
Just one thought, Prabhuji.
Yes, Chandra.
Yeah, what I understand from my short of the my knowledge is that the offering the fruits is the best thing to the Lord Krishna, because basically that is being grown on the trees, and basically it does not have any, you can say, adulteration or anything into that. So that is the best what is say prasadam to offer. Secondly, if we are preparing some ingredient at our home or something, so that is also one of the good things. So that because we will take care of everything, we will clean it, we will then prepare it with the proper cleanliness, hygiene, and everything. If we purchase it from outside, certainly the hygiene and other things are questionable. So, but offering, and third thing is that offering a things which I can afford is the always the best one, because if I am offering the best of the best thing which I can offer is the one of the indication to Krishna that you are keeping me in a very good state of living standard, and according to my capacity I am offering you the best. Suppose if I am in a good capacity and if I am not offering that, so it is showing that basically you are not keeping me in a good you can say living standard or something. If my living standard is good, certainly I should offer best, so that it should show a gratitude to Krishna that your mercy is highest on me, on from all of.
Correct. So if we take a question of offering fruits only, can come if we are eating fruits only. But if we are eating a elaborate meal, then offering fruit doesn't make sense, because that's cheating. So whatever the whole point is, whatever later the verse will come, that whatever we do, we should do it by keeping Krishna at the center. And so all our activities should be done for Krishna. So if you are preparing a meal, be it an Ekadashi, non-Ekadashi prasad can be offered even to Krishna on the Ekadashi day as well. But whatever we are preparing, we should prepare to the best of our capacity, best of our ability, and we should offer it to Krishna first and then consume as prasad. That's the simple process. So offering only fruits to Krishna, offering only milk and sugar to Krishna, offering only some rice and ghee to Krishna while keep preparing a different feast for our own self, that's cheating. So that should not be done. So you may prepare chappan bhog for Krishna and then eat it completely yourself. That's also possible. But whatever you are preparing, prepare in the mood of offering. Prepare with the mood that you are going to offer it to Krishna, and actually offer it to Krishna with love and devotion and accept it as prasad. It is as simple as that. So which will force you to bring changes in your home, in your lifestyle, in your the way you that the way you eat, that you will be forced to then eat, remove the non-offerable elements from your daily routine. That's the change. That's a big change, and that will be a big change for all of us to accept, all of us to implement in our life as we desire to progress further in Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Thank you very
Krishna.
much for the wonderful session, nice session, and so much of nectar you have poured in the session. And it was just a wonderful revision with with many things, many add-on things in the in order to grow in the spiritual life. So this is the pure mercy of yours. And I would request all the devotees in association to chant just one Hare Krishna Mahamantra for you by unmuting themselves. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful guidance. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.